What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another matchup from Raidcall Dota 2 League. I am Bbon. As always, if you want an alternative version of this VOD, check out youtube.com/myegnet or twitch.tv/one more game TV number 2 without the number in there, so just one more game TV 2. And as always, you can check it out on Dota TV if you have the ticket to get AC and Draskell's version of this cast. But if you want to stick around, stay well with me. I'll be more than happy to entertain you with my very, very unique brand of commentary. Anyway, we have a matchup between Navi and Mouz. Just to give us a little bit of background information before this match, Navi actually got eliminated from the defense league by Fnatic. I really wanted to cast that series, but there's just so many other things going on with the tournament I was live casting for, the And Then Some Gaming Tournament number 1, where most of the VODs have been uploaded, and the grand finals will be restreamed this weekend. So check it out. The up-to-date information will be on my Facebook page. It looks to be a pretty interesting grand finals. It is going to be replay casted, but anyway, unfortunately, because of commitments to that, I couldn't really cast or replay cast some of the games I really wanted to do. One of them, which was Navi vs Fnatic, which Navi lost. And Navi are 6-4 in their last 10. I do believe they've lost 3 in a row. Maybe they're 7-3 going into this match. And they did just win one of the first Raidcall EMS leagues, number 1. I think they didn't compete in the most recent EMS Cup. Probably just because they've been playing so many matches recently. Actually, in the month of February, Navi's played the most matches out of any team. Probably because they took it easy for January, but yeah, I think it's a bit unfair to give Navi so much criticism. They have such high expectations in the European scene that if they don't win a tournament or if they don't place top 3, it's pretty much a shocker. So people really get on them. I'm not really trying to make excuses because they have definitely not made themselves look too good with some of the statements saying, oh, online doesn't matter or something like that. But yeah, they're definitely taking things very seriously, and just the overall level of competition has definitely been leveling up. More people are practicing, more people are returning to or starting to innovate their picks, and definitely not making it easy for Navi to really dominate like they once used to. Mouz, on the other hand, the German team, they did have a really strong streak. I think in month of January they lost one series, but in February they've just had an abysmal time. I think Black was in the hospital, and people started figuring out like Mouz Sports. They know that Black has a select few carries that he really does well with, either Anti-Mage or Lifesteal are pretty much his 2 favorite carries. If they don't give Kuroki some of those big, really game impacting supports, whether it be Rubik or Enigma or anything like that, Mouz does have a tendency to get shut down. But right now, this is game number 3 of this series, and it is 1-1. I think Navi took game 1 in pretty much a stomp. Game 2, Mouz fought back and managed to win on the back of Black's Anti-Mage. But yeah, so far in the last 10, Mouz is actually 3-7. They've made it quite far in a lot of tournaments, only just to sort of fall flat just before the finish line. I think they got just eliminated from the Dota Hut Invitational. They're in the middle of the pack in the Raidcall Dota 2 League. I think they're still in the Defense 3, but so far they're looking a bit shaky. So we'll see. I think this series will definitely do a long way in terms of boosting up their confidence. Kuroki and Puppy, of course, y'all know, friends for quite a bit, whether it be on KS Int in Dota 1 days, GGNet, or just in general. They're pretty good friends, and I'm sure they both have a friendly competition. And yeah, if Mouz wins this game right now, Navi, it's not looking good for them, the Raidcall Dota 2, but Mouz, if they win this game, they have a chance of making into the playoffs. So they're definitely taking these games very seriously. And Navi, I think if they lose one more match, then their contention for the Raidcall Dota 2 League playoffs are not looking too good. And keep in mind that both of these teams were invited to the MS Cup, which is quite a large amount of tournament money for a LAN tournament, and I'm sure they want to get some practice in beforehand. But we're going to see Mouz pick up the Lifesteal for Black, as well as the Brewmaster, so they're trying to solidify a bit of their team fight. Navi picked up Keeper Light and Wisp because Mouz picked up Nyx with their first choice. Wisp and Keeper Light, probably the 2 best supports in the game, as well as Nyx, and Navi going to go with Wisp Chaos Knight. Pretty unusual for Navi, because they don't usually use Chaos Knight too much. In fact, I haven't really seen them run it much at all, and it probably will be Havost on the Chaos Knight, Puppy on the Wisp, and ars-art playing the Keeper Light. And Chaos Knight Wisp combination very deadly in the middle lane. But Brewmaster, I imagine, can hold his own. He is very tanky, has a bit of passive evasion, so if he gets lucky, he can escape a lot of the engagements. So we'll see what Mouz decides to do in reaction to this lane. And man, This is probably the longest break I've done from casting for a while. I've just been uploading videos, a couple videos or one video a day from the ATS Gaming Tournament #1. Again, the Grand Finals will be rebroadcast this weekend, but it's actually been 4 days since I've last casted the match. I'm actually working on other projects instead of streaming, working on other projects. They're looking pretty strong, but I won't promise anything because my promise is when I promise something on a certain date, they most likely will take another 10 years before they actually get finished. But yeah, this is game 3, and we see now we start to ban out supports. I know Mouz are lacking in terms of supports. Black really wants that try to really give him as much free farm as possible. Meanwhile, Mouz going to ban out mid-solo heroes or off-lane heroes that could give Mouz a lot of trouble. They want to solidify their team fight. Get out of Magnus RP, very annoying to deal with. They know Navi doesn't really have a strong off-lane hero left in the pool in terms of the team fight, so unless they pick up something like a Windrunner with the Shackle Shot could be very deadly. Lone Druid with the pushing, of course Lone Druid already was banned. So Mouz banning towards the offlane, banning towards heroes that Light of Heaven do have a good time, maybe sort of forcing Light of Heaven to go into a Windrunner pick, because right now all the prototypical long lane Light of Heaven heroes have been removed from the pool. So Mouz, I imagine, want to pick up one of their support. They already have the hard carry, they have one of the teamfight initiators, they need their long lane, and they need their support for the hard carry. So it's going to be interesting to see what they decide to do. Will they go for a bit more teamfight, try to take a mid-game teamfight, because Lifestealer, very strong in mid-game, but Wisp and Chaos Knight so strong. And it's kind of funny because both heroes sort of scale at sort of the same amount of time, although Lifestealer does tend to farm a bit more, especially Black Lifestealer does like to farm. We're going to see Enigma. And Mouz is one of those teams that likes to run offlane Enigma. I know Pos really prefers playing Enigma. If it's not Pos, it's Kuroki. But Mouz is one of those few teams who, when they get Enigma, they like to put him in the long lane, do a lot of denies. And since there is going to be dual lane mid, Enigma will probably get a decent amount of time to get some experience rolling, and won't be an as great a threat as if he were up against a tri-lane, just because there is a dual lane mid. So I think, just judging from the placement of this pick, it will be a long lane Enigma, but still, it could be a support. The problem if he was a support or a jungler in a tri-lane is that the Nyx lifesteal is dual melee, going to be very difficult to kill anybody, going to be very difficult to keep people back without expending too much mana. So it is most likely going to be a long lane Enigma with some sort of support backing up the Nyx and lifesteal combination. But yeah, it has been a while, 4 days since I've last casted the game. Gotta get back in shape, as there's a lot of exciting stuff happening in the near future. So many tournaments, so many little time. As the G League's coming up, I probably won't bring you any of those games, because I'm sure that those games will get broadcast to death by LD, by Toby. I'm sure Lumi won't want to cast one of those replays, so I probably won't bring you any G League action. But I actually have a source of Southeast Asian Dota 2 replays that I'm going to go into or start casting very, very soon, and of course dual cast with SK. I do want to try to cover some of the Defense 3 Grand Finals, or the Losers Finals, just because I've casted so much from that I really want to see it to the end. But now we're going to pick up the Bounty Hunter for the offlane position, and Vengeful Sphere is going to be trusted over Mouz. Interesting, we're seeing Vengeful. Her aura is very strong in the mid-game, and I think this Vengeful Sphere is mostly just to counter the Keeper Light or the Wisp, because Wisp and Keeper Light want to stay very far back so they don't die when you channel their spells from far away. Wisp, of course, wants to get the tether going, get the healing going for the Chaos Knight. So swap, if they manage to swap out the Keeper Light or the Wisp and isolate them down, then it could be a huge issue for Navi in these teamfights. So Vengeful Spirit makes a lot of sense, and of course she does have a stun. Will help to keep Bounty Hunter back even though she doesn't have too much range. Possibility of triple stuns or double stuns and a really, really immense slow will just scare Bounty Hunter the heck back. And I actually have not seen Light of Heaven play Bounty Hunter all too much, and Navi going to go for a bit more of an aggressive ganking lineup. But so far in the teamfights, they're being severely outclassed. So far, even though Navi have the two best supports in the game, I do like Mouz supports lineup a bit more. So we'll see if Navi are going to pick up something a little bit more wacky with their last pick, or try to just solidify their ganking strat. As we still have yet to see Dendi's hero, unless they put Dendi on the Chaos Knight. Probably going to put Dendi in a sort of pseudo-farm role. I'm not too sure where they're going to go with him. Maybe Navi just won't put Wisp Chaos Knight mid, because I actually have never seen them run Wisp Chaos Knight mid. They might just put him top, with Keeper the Light backing him up, roaming Keeper the Light. I'm not too sure, just put Dendi, a traditional mid-solo hero. They're going to go with Tiny, so it's going to be Dendi middle with Puppy, I imagine, Havos farming up the Tiny on the top lane with the help of Keeper the Light. And Enigma will have a reasonably good time up against this lane. Of course, ars-art will constantly fuel Tiny's mana, but still, Enigma, decent move speed, definitely faster than Tiny. The summons do hurt in the early stages of the game, especially against Tiny's very low armor. And the fact that Tiny, even though if he'll have mana being refueled by ars-art, his base mana pool isn't really that strong where he can pull off a combination until level 3 or 4, will mean that Pos will have a relatively easy time in the top lane for the first couple levels. So, again, I am favoring Mouz's lineup, but if it does go late game, Navi does have that insured with that Tiny pickup. If they manage to get some track kills going, it'll just be very difficult for Mouz to sort of recover their footing unless they manage to get a huge team fight victory. So overall, I like Mouz Sports lineup a bit more, but Navi's lineup, if they get some momentum, are definitely a lot more scary than Mouz's lineup. So it's going to be a really interesting match right now. And right now, we'll introduce the players and the teams. So, forgot to turn off direct camera. But time to introduce the players and the teams. We have Kuroki or Kurokai. I always called him Kuroki. Most people called him Kuroki, but apparently the correct pronunciation is the one that Toby was spitting out all these years. It is actually Kurokai, but whatever. Kuroki just rolls off the tongue. It's just much more pleasing to the ear, in my opinion. And I know a lot about pleasing your ears with my terrible, terrible rapping skills. And I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit tough to rap with a very weird beat. I think I was just a bit overambitious in my lyrics, trying to pump out too many words. But still, the other projects I have in mind, you'll be able to hear the full range of my musical genius. Oh man, I can't even keep a straight face when I mention that. But we're gonna have Kurokai, aka Kuroki, aka Kuro, aka the K-God, aka German guy. Kuroki playing that Nyx Assassin, Feta is going to be playing the Brewmaster, Pos is going to be handling that Long Lane Enigma, Alex is going to be playing the Vengeful Spirit, and Black is going to be playing his Lifesteal. And there was a winning percentage or some sort of statistic that Bruno mentioned on one of the Good Studio shows. Or maybe it was in a Team Liquid article, I don't know. Anyway, Bruno on the Good Studio doing a fantastic job getting really strong stats. Team Liquid, of course, giving out ridiculously good stats recently. And it was something like Black having only one loss with the Lifesteal recently. Of course, that might have been before the recent losing streak, but still, Black on Lifesteal is definitely nothing to be underestimated. And I'm not too sure if Black's out of the hospital just yet, but hopefully he is, because Mouz are going to be playing a lot of games very, very shortly. Meanwhile, we're going to have the Captain Puppy playing the Wisp, Havost is playing the Tiny, Dendy's playing the Chaos Knight, Light of Heaven's playing the Bounty Hunter, and ars-art is playing the Keeper of the Light. So we'll just check out the items really fast. Havost going to roam to the top lane. Has a Stout Shield. Interesting. Probably expects a bit of harassment from the offlane Enigma. That's the only reason why you get Stout Shield on Tiny. Keep in mind, only zero armor, and the Stout Shield, if it procs, does do a decent job in terms of blocking most of the Eidolon damage. Keep in mind, if it blocks 20 damage, the Eidolons at level 1 don't do too much damage until they start getting up to level 3 or level 4. So Stout Shield, pretty smart choice by Havost right here, knowing that armor won't really be effective. If you can manage to take out some of those hits right off the bat, it'll just be a lot more effective. Ars-art getting both the chicken and the wards. Puppy, where is all the money going towards? Light of Heaven has some set towards the D ward, and you got a PMS as well as regen, so they're really pulling a lot of gold into Light of Heaven. They know that their team fight is very weak. They want to get Light of Heaven off to a good start, make sure he doesn't die, make sure he has some sort of lane presence so he can get at least a bit of experience. I was going to see a tether in, trying to catch off Alex, but unfortunately Bounty Hunter level 1 doesn't really have the best burst damage, so I imagine Navi is going to back off. The Magic Missile is in place. Kurokai, or Kuroki, is going to try to scare them away, does do so successfully as the Weasel Crow manages to escape away. Puppy gets himself another Observe Ward. And yeah, Light of Heaven, PMS with the 2 tangos and Sentry Wards just being given a lot of help on that bottom lane in the form of these items, but still, it's up to Light of Heaven just to get an experience range. And it's going to be very deadly against the triple stun, as Feta are going to take a lot of damage. Unfortunately, I do not think they can kill the Brewmaster at level 1 with just the level 1 Chaos Knight. Puppy just going to barely escape the salvo, healing up Dendy all the while as well. And already there's going to be a bit of mana loss, but Puppy is popping Clarity as well, I think. Going to give Dendy a lot of mana, and will allow him to cast another spell very, very soon, but Feta will solidify him in the mid lane. And actually, we're not going to see Kuroki actually go to the bottom lane. And against Vengeful Spirit, who doesn't really have the best range, Light of Heaven can play a bit more brave, especially with that PMS and the Sentry Wards, to immediately D-ward if there's a Sentry Ward in place. Alex does have some Sentry Wards to buy out the Bounty Hunter, but still, Alex does want to get experience. Vengeful Spirit is one of those supports who does thrive on experience. I'm a little bit curious to see why Pos is jungling. Maybe fears the Keeper Light Chakra Magic regen against Vos, maybe he just wants safer jungle farm. That's probably it. But I guess once he saw the Stout Shield, he realized he can really do too much harass to the Tiny. And still, I think the denies would be pretty good, but he doesn't have, well, he still has a decent number of clarity, so I guess he's just going to try to get his Soul Ring, then migrate to the top lane, but still, I think giving him this much free farm on a Tiny, where he can feasibly contest it against the Keeper of the Light with those Eidolons, and considering the fact that Tiny has base 0 armor, might be a better idea, but we're going to see rotation in by Light of Heaven, and a Centaur was dropped, but Light of Heaven is going to try to steal one of the creeps, but unfortunately Windwalk will be on cooldown. Nice Impale, blindly going to scout it out, and Kurokai actually does manage to get the last hit on that big creep. Going to delay Enigma's Soul Ring Rush by just a bit, but still, better to get the last hit on that creep than giving it up to Light of Heaven, who probably couldn't have gone in because his Shadow Walk would have been on cooldown and he would have just died. So far, very tame early game, as we're going to see a tether up by the Wisp somewhere. They're going to do a reality hit. Unfortunately, Dendy just outside the rain. No Observer Ward on the high ground. Fada was able to juke into the fog, thwarting out Kuroki's escape. And keep in mind, Puppey, those orbs do give vision, but they're not going to dive in too deeply. Fada's still at full HP. And Brewmaster, one of those heroes who does do quite well against this. Darkseer does do quite well because he can stay very far back, spam Ion Shells, jungle in the forest. So with Chaos Knight, very strong aggressive lane against aggressive heroes, but as long as you stay back, you should be okay. It does very well against heroes like Queen of Pain, Batrider, heroes that want to be aggressive, but if you just stay back like Brewmaster, like Darkseer, and just keep up your spells, if you're tanky, you'll be able to survive and probably win the lane against Chaos Knight and Puppey. Or Wisp, that is, as Most is going to get a push going. They know that nobody's going to reinforce the top lane for quite a bit, and they know Enigma eventually does want to reinforce that top lane, so they're going to just try to provide as much pressure as possible. Ars-art going to take a bit of tower damage. Most picked up the boots of speed, probably going to go for the phase boots or the treads rather than the arcane boots. He has Keeper Light, his portable mana fountain, to give him all the mana he could possibly want in the world. Going to see rotation in by Kuroki, or Kurokai, god damn it, just going to call him Kuroki. So it's going to take a bit of stun damage. Tower almost in deny range is now going to be in deny range, and now he should be able to clean it up. As was trying to get the last hit, unfortunately ars-art is going to jack it. Puppey is going to get the tether in, but Kuroki will escape. A toss in for Puppey. The Wisp Tiny has so much synergy, but still not enough to kill off Kuroki, as a regen is activated by the Vengeful Spirit. Alex going to roam in for a bit of harassment. No, looks like he is going to be thwarted, and one of the downfalls of pushing the tower so early on is that Havos will be a little bit in the middle of no man's land unless he gets some stacks going in his way. And keep in mind, Havos at level 4 won't be able to clear up jungle creep stacks that easily. So Black will be able to continue to outfarm Havos, and if you want to leave a carry player like Black this much free farm, it's not going to be a good time. Black, one of the most well-known, well-regarded Western Rising heroes, although there are some people who are giving a run for the money just because they die a lot less frequently than Black, you know, if they can't get the GPM access. As there's going to be engaged, Light of Heaven is going to poke his head out a little bit too far. The Sentry Ward is going to give him vision all the while. Alex will get that stun up relatively soon. Can Light of Heaven get outside the Sentry Ward range? He does, just barely. And Light of Heaven just going to escape by the skin of his teeth. As so far in the middle lane, just checking out Brewmaster's levels. He is level 5. I think he's bottle currying. We'll have the boots up relatively soon. He is, in fact, bottle currying, so he will have the boots up very, very soon. Just going to get the clap for a bit of extra farm and harassment against Dendy. As we're going to see Puppey Roman just trying to get the wards back online. As Enigma Pos just content to farm in the jungle with the Soul Ring. So they're really going to give Host complete free farm. And I guess they figure Black will have much more of an impact than Vost early on. So as long as we're getting more farm on Black, we should be okay, as we're going to get an open wounds onto Light of Heaven. Centaur Ward is dropped. Is there going to be stun placed? There is going to be stun. Light of Heaven is going to end up dying to Black for the first blood. Going to get a little bit of a tower pressure, as Light of Heaven is going to buy back a mini teleport, recognizing that there's a possibility to push. But meanwhile in the middle lane, oh, Denny just barely able to escape by the skin of his teeth up against a combination of the Enigma, the Nyx, and the Panda. Not sure what I've haven't bought back, but he's going to protect his tower. I guess he just wants to really get experience when he saw the dual supports roam in. But as it is, there is a Sentry Ward, so Light of Heaven will have to be very careful if Alex has another Sentry Ward, which he does, and he almost has boots, so it'll be very easy to set up another gank on Light of Heaven very, very soon. I guess the buyback cost didn't really matter too much to Live Evan at this stage in the game. Fada almost to level 6. It's getting very, very close. Real Rift is going to come in. Fade just now picks up level 6. He will have that. And seeing that, Navi is going to try to retreat. But unfortunately, Puppey is going to take so much damage. Hasten being popped as well. Puppey is going to explode in a giant burst of light. But as it is, Navi just went for that gank a little bit too late. Fade was able to hit level 6. And once they saw Fade hit level 6, they knew it was time to back out. But timely reinforcement by Kuroki, and the fact that Fade is just so tank, almost 1k HP at level 6 without any stat boosting items other than Magic Wand. Fade is going to take another bit of damage, but here comes the ultimate. Gonna go back onto Dendi, gonna do a significant amount of damage, but with Puppey healing him up, Dendi should be okay, and at least the Brewmaster ultimate will be out of the picture for the next 160 seconds as the Fire Panda gonna go back in. Dendi will have to be pretty careful, but now Fade is just gonna retreat, knowing that he could not get anything accomplished with that, and at the very least, yeah, the Brewmaster Ultimate will be back online very, very soon, as Leicester does manage to pick up his another kill against Light of Heaven Centwards, and no boosts yet on Alex, so it was just the open wounds into a lot of damage being provided by the side of Mouz. Leads to another death by Light of Heaven, as there's going to be another engagement in the middle lane while the tower is being pushed. Dendi is going to take a lot of damage. Here comes Poss with a nice 2-man black hole in the early game. Gonna clean off Dendi. Puppey is gonna die, and Mouz is just rolling all over Navi at this stage in the game. Completely unexpected, considering that even though Navi's been struggling, Mouz has just lost so much momentum recently. Like I said, they've been going 3-7, as Keeper Light does pick up a top kill against the Brewmaster. No, just a middle lane kill with the Illuminate. Nicely done by ars-art. And one thing that is going right, man, kills happening all over the map. I'm just, man, this really shows I'm out of shape. 4 days casting and already missing kills left and right, as where is Vost? He might be in a bit of trouble. No, just gonna poke his head out. Picked up the treads. We'll start going into the Aghanim's, I imagine. No, just gonna go for the drums. Has the bracer up already. So once he gets the drums, he'll get the Aghanim's, and then he'll start becoming a late game powerhouse. But again, Tiny does take quite a bit of items in order to sort of transition to the late game powerhouse, which is very, very well, because as it is, Tiny, potentially the scariest late game hero in the game. One of the few heroes who can make Phantom Lancer shiver in his boots.
Top tower is under attack.
As Keeper Light gonna challenge Illuminate. But as it is, Leicester getting a lot of farm. 66 last hits, has his Animize up, and already getting a pretty big item shift towards him because he has so much farm. Is that an armlet? It is going to be an armlet relatively soon, as he has the helm up. And we'll have that wand finished as well, as Light of Heaven trying to get some experience trying to jack one of the Eidolons. Does do successfully. Light of Heaven finally level 6 just off that Eidolon kill. We'll see if they can get some track kills going, but as is, Denny gonna have to Phantasm very defensively. Nice Chaos Bolt turnaround, but unfortunately, that rage just too good. I think Dendi expected that Black would not have enough mana for that Chaos Bolt, as the Illuminate is gonna fly in, and we'll just do a bit more chip damage, but the side of Mouse should be okay. Unfortunately, Black is out of mana. He will have the Magic Wand up relatively soon. If he manages to switch those into Intreads, he's still enough for open wound, so he will just have to play very, very safe, and we'll, yeah, just play very, very safe. What more can I say?
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Pass with the Soul Ring, saving a lot of money. I think he's going straight for Dagger, and this is a pretty good idea. When you see a Wisp casting in the picture, the best way to escape is on the back of the Blink Dagger. So Light of Heaven's going to do a bit of harassment with the Janata and the track. But yeah, Dagger Enigma, don't really see that too often. Usually we see Mechanism Rush. And it could still just be a Mechanism Rush on Enigma. He's really holding on to a lot of gold, but another Dagger Enigma against a Wisp CK, especially against a Tiny who is melee range. If you manage to catch the Wisp or the CK in a stun, then it'll be very difficult for them to interrupt the black hole. Of course, Shuriken Toss with a mini stun, and if they don't manage to catch Wisp, the tether will break that black hole. But Blink Dagger is pretty much a necessity in this game for Poss, just because there's so many melee heroes. They will inevitably get clumped up, even though Bounty Hunter really likes to stay on the far back of the battles. Now you're trying to push in, but the Brewmaster Ultimate is finally back online, as they're just going to apply a bit of pressure, as the Spike Carapace is going to reduce a lot of ars-art's HP right in one fell swoop. And Leicester are going to have that armlet up very, very soon. We'll have it up in about 300 gold. So that could be very worrying for Navi, because Havos is still very far away from fishing any items. Check out Dendi, just the treads up. as he's gonna probably go for drums as well. Might go for the armlet because Host already has the drums. As Mouz, keep in mind they know they have the stronger team fight advantage, so there is level 6 that they have the potential to swap people out of position with Alex's swap. As those boots, so she can catch up to the person escaping a lot more easily. And as it is, both teams playing a very delicate dance with each other. Wards going out all over the map. Centaur's in place in the middle lane, trying to catch out the bounty hunter, trying to de-ward it up. But as it is, Black and Mouz just continue to farm up. It might just come down to a late game battle. Lifestealer versus Tiny. And in that situation, I definitely favor the Tiny, because he does AoE damage, as well as dealing immense amounts of damage. But I imagine Mouz, if they want to have success in this game, they're going to have to take team fights a lot more early. Right now, they do have a solid advantage. They have a higher level than the Brewmaster. They have more farm than the Lifestealer, who does have a minus, so he can fill up his gold intake by quite a bit more. And here comes swap onto ars-art. Magic Missile is in place, ars-art. Never stood a chance as they're going to use a split for ars-art just to ensure the kill. That was questionable decision making since Kuroki was getting position. I guess they thought the slow would wear off before Kuroki could actually get the stun, but keep in mind, swap 45-second cooldown in comparison to the Brewmaster's 160-second. I think they'd be okay if they just spent a swap, but I guess it's just better to be safe rather than sorry, as Wisp not trying to tether away. They realized it was an illusion. As this middle tier 1 tower will end up dying very, very shortly, as Black trying to approach Light of Heaven. Light of Heaven has not made it too much of an impression other than the boots and the PMS. It's just been harassed so heavily, as we're going to see a Wisp relocate in, trying to feel up Havos tower, taking ability. Will manage to pick it off, and this is one of the problems with Wisp in the game. With the help of a carry, can just take towers so easily, help them farm, and get back in the battle. But a nice timing of the Black Hole by Pos, getting Puppy and Havost in there. Light of Heaven is in the picture. They do get one track kill, and I forgot to mention, Dendy's back in there as well, so this is a huge engage for Navi, as Infest killed will pick off Havost. If they can get another track kill, this might very well be worth it, as they managed to get 2 track kills off that engagement, despite it being 2-2, and despite losing Tiny. They managed to burn the Black Hole, as well as getting 2 track kills. A definite victory for Navi in that situation. And they managed to kill Black, which is always a nice victory for them, as you can see the gold graph starting to take a slight swing downwards. But meanwhile, we're going to have a push attempt in. ars-art is in position, channel that Illuminate. So Navi doing a nice job utilizing the Wisp to take advantage, teleporting the Wisp to the bottom lane, getting a tower kill, then immediately teleporting to the top lane, or relocating to the top lane, and getting a double track kill, which is very, very immense, considering that they only lost 2 heroes in that exchange. The track bounty gold was very much appreciated for Navi. That is going to feel bounty on his phase boots, and Dendy gonna go straight up for that BKB, just getting the brace for a bit of extra HP, as Lifesteal is going to charge in. He did die in the last engagement, but managed to respawn very quickly. Only level 13, not the biggest respawn timer, as Black is going to charge in, trying to do whatever he can to slow down the assault of Navi. And Black Hole and Brewmaster Ultimate are still on cooldown as my Mouse decides to spaz out. Brewmaster Ultimate will still be on cooldown for quite a bit. Alex does have the swap to potentially catch somebody out of position. They really want to get ars-art. Otherwise, the Blind Light and the Limit would just be so annoying to push against. As it is, the creep waves are falling very quickly. But here comes the second benefit of having Enigma. You can get the push going with the Eidolons, as they are going to take a significant amount of burst damage from the Wisp, and Leicester will clean up the tower, only sacrificing a bit of HP, and they managed to save the ultimates. And Brewmaster will have his ultimate up very, very soon. Unfortunately, not yet level 11, so still have that ridiculously long cooldown, but he does have the dagger to get it off into a better position. We'll blink in with the thunderclap, going on to ars-art, double damage Brewmaster right in your grill. Never stood a chance, as it's going to be a swap back. They thought that the slow would wear off. Keep in mind, Keeper of the Light does have very high base wound speed, 315. So once the slow wears off, if Nice is not in position for the slow, better be safe than sorry, and keep in mind, swap very, very short cooldown. Unfortunately, Alex might be regretting the decision. Could have potential pick up Wisp right there, but as it is, without Keeper Light to get the defense rolling, Mouz will take this tier 2 tower without too much of a fight. They do have the Eidolons giving them a nice amount of secondary DPS onto those towers. We'll clean up 2 towers relatively quickly, more than making up for those track kills that they gave up, as there's going to be being forward by Fada. Going to get the open wounds as well as the Centaur. Light of Heaven never stood a chance with the Centaur in place. And Black, despite dying once, already up to 3.5k gold. This is the power of Black. As Havos trying to farm whatever he can, only has died once, 100 CS, but still the speed at which Tiny farms. I'm a bit surprised that Navi's not being a bit more like No Tide. I think if they were stacking camps with Tiny with the Avalanche Toss, they could get so much extra gold. But as it is, Tiny potentially being denied a bit of extra gold, but he's only died once. He's still a decent way away from his Aghanims, but still, as long as Navi can hold out on their towers, they will be able to get the split push going with this Tiny combination, and should be okay if they can manage to hold on to a couple more of their towers. But as it is, Mouz is rotating in. They do have the swap back up. They have the Brewmaster ultimate back online. Still not yet level 11. They do have the black hole up as well with the mechanism finished on Enigma. So skipping that dagger for now, going for the standard build as double waves flying out. That was a bit funky. As Black jumps inside Kurokai. It's always so awkward in pubs saying, "Get inside me, Nyx, get inside me." And then the Nyx player is just like, "What the heck are you talking about, dude?" Just so wrong. But oh, so right. As Luminate gonna clip Black on just the edge, has that fully stocked magic wand as well as the armor to give him enough HP. And they're gonna push in, blink ahead by Feta, driving away the opposition. Illuminate trying to do whatever he can, but unfortunately wasn't able to clip any of the Mouse heroes. And it's gonna be a tower trade. The middle tier 1 will die in exchange for this tier 2 on the bottom lane. But as it is now, despite Navi being on the dire side, they have zero access to get into an easy Roshan as Havos will have to run away. We'll have that point booster up again. Nice farm, but still, compared to the farm that Black's against, is going to be a teleport out. Feta, unfortunately, no stuns in the picture. Won't use that bomb. So 11-3 in favor of Mouse.
Jump in any time, guys.
Coming anytime, guys. Indeed. Brewmaster's such a jolly fellow. And you can check out the gold graph. 4 towers in comparison to 3 towers for Navi. So Mouse definitely has a good gold lead. They have the minus up on Lifesteal. Lifesteal is outfarming Black. And they have Enigma jungling it up constantly. So there is where the huge gold advantage is coming from. But again, do you really want to keep Wisp and Tiny in the game? They can just split push so easily, and Vos has actually managed to finish the Aghanims. I was wondering why it seemed like he was so poor, was just holding on to a lot of items on the courier. And now they can start to get split push rolling. So these creep waves will never be in position to be close to the tower, and Mouse is going to try to attempt Roshan. Still no level 11 left on the Brewmaster. I think that is a priority for Mouse, because those level 1 Brewmaster ultimates can actually be killed quite easily at this stage in the game, especially against Tiny, who will just cleave them to death. As you can see, Puppy with the Real K online will teleport Havost out and sacrifice his life if he has to in order to keep Havost alive. As I'm going to be interested to see what Havost goes for, probably AC or Mask of Madness. Won't get BKB unless it's really necessary. And again, BKB in this game probably might not even be the best decision. Lifesteal will inevitably go for a Basher at some point. He already has the Death Slate up. Enigma, Black Hole goes to the BKB. Well, he'll need a BKB, otherwise he'll just get locked down by the Brewmaster. There's going to be another relocate in for the bottom lane. The glyph will expire before the relocate expires. Puppy taking a significant amount of damage. They're going to kill off Puppy. The tether should break. Break the tether. Oh man, they teleported the jungle on Mouse. Unfortunately, did not know where Navi was teleporting from. But it's going to be another tower trade. And this is getting a bit dangerous for Navi because now they are in very great danger of losing all of their towers. And keep in mind, Mouse still have 2 towers left on their own side. But there is going to be a Roshan attempt by Dendy and the rest of Mouse Sports. Very slow game, but a lot of action going on just outside the scenes. Live haven't fished the Vlad, so that's pretty important. Going to give Tiny a nice boost to damage. Give him some lifesteal so he won't have to go for Mask Man. It's going to give Dendy a nice amount of lifesteal as well. Give his illusions a lot of damage. So really good item Vlad's is in this scenario, but there's going to be an attempt by Mouse to jack the Roshan. I think the orbs did scout Kuroki as the tether goes in for Kuroki. Here comes the impale by Kuroki. Will kill off the Wisp, but Havos does pick off the Black Hole by hurt the Aegis by a beautiful Black Hole by Paz over the high ground. Means that, oh my god, that was a Black Hole and a half by Paz as he Black Holed the high ground, preventing Havos from doing any damage in that team fight. they kill the rest of the team, he's going to respawn with the Aegis, but without anything like a Blink Dagger, he's just going to lose that Aegis as quickly as he came into contact with it. As Pos with the game-breaking black hole. What a play! I was stuttering just a bit. That rust in terms of casting showing itself right there, but hopefully you got the picture. Just what a play by Pos up the side of the cliff. And I think that was blind. I mean, it's easy to sort of predict when they picked up the Roshan and there's still 2 melee heroes, but he didn't really have vision because Roshan does block the vision quite a bit. And they didn't have a ward in the picture either, so that was a blind, over the cliff, black hole. What a play. What a play. And that's going to give Mouz a huge advantage, 16-3. As against a Wisp Tiny, you need all the advantage you can possibly get if you're going to the late game. Fade up finding level 12. We'll go for the Aghanim Scepter. Black did not die. Fish the Desolator. Gonna be well on his way towards the next time, whether it be AC or Basher or Abyssal. You know, Puppy's suffering quite a bit. Only level 9 at this stage. Taking a look at the experience graph, it's starting to spiral out of control for Mouz. Skull graph not really that much in favor of Mouz. Definitely not really something that can be sort of say, oh, it's 5k advantage, Mouz win. But it's still very, very scary, especially considering the team fight on the side of Mouz. It's not going to look any better for Navi if they don't manage to get anything happening very, very soon. As it's going to be rotation top. Veda will have the ultimate up in about a minute. Black Hole be on cooldown for quite a bit, as Kuroki actually went for the Dagon. Going to get a bit more burst damage. If they can manage to burst down something like Puppy or ars-art at the beginning of the battle, it's supposed to just going to teleport right from underneath the nose of everybody on the side of Mouz. Puppy, I do not know if they realized he had a TP or not. Looks like they didn't recognize it. Puppy will just relocate out. Where did he relocate to? As Mouz will not know where he's going, so they didn't really catch the glimpse of Puppy. But Puppy now went to the base, got a TP, will be able to help out in this tower defense, but it looks like Navi not even going to bother to defend this, as Feda and the rest of the Mouz squad going to push in. Black holding on to a lot of gold. What did he manage to pick up? I think that was Hyperstone. He's going to go straight up for the AC. Keep in mind, Tiny at this point does do a lot of damage. Oh, he has a plate mail, so that's going to help him out a bit, but still, Black will be dishing out minus 11 armor very, very soon. And that's going to be very scary for Tiny, especially since he has nothing like a heart or Mental style to give him extra survivability. As limits are going to fly in, the blue balls are flying all over the place by Puppy. Disco partying it up, but still. At the very least, 11 was able to secure a bomb tier 2 tower level 11, so if they manage to get some track kills, they could very well find themselves back in game. Track at level 11 just gives you so much extra gold. 50 gold for your team at level 1, not really that important, but 100 gold for every kill that you manage to get really, really adds up very, very quickly if you're a bounty hunter's team. So if now you manage to get one team fight, if 11 survives, they will find themselves very much back in this game. But as it is the team fight inside of Mouz, without a BKB on the side, aside from Dendi of course, but with no BKB on the side of Tiny or on the side of the bounty hunter, the Brewmaster will just tear through everybody, even if the Black Hole by Pos is not really in the best shape. But as it is, Pos is doing a remarkable job, has managed to cast 2 Black Holes, and they've been both spotless. Managed to cast 3 Black Holes, I'm not too sure. Gonna go for the BKB, and on the side of Navi, there's literally nothing that goes through BKB for them. So Navi not looking in the best of shape. Pavot's trying to farm up the Ancients as much as possible. Trying to pick up the AC. He's always saying for buyback because it's going to be infest in for Fade. They're trying to pick off somebody with a gank. But there's a dire sentry in place, so if Kuroki takes the most obvious route, he will be scouted out. But as is, ars-art will be in a huge amount of trouble. Unfortunately, Kuroki is spotted out. The sentry ward is going to see him. As Mouz is going to find it very difficult to break in, but they do have one of the best base breaking supports in the form of Venge. If Venge is level 11, Kato will not be able to stand a chance, and I think if Mouz want to push in, they should try to get Venge level 11. That increased range on the swap, 900 range, definitely nothing to sneeze at. But as this, they're going to push in. They have the dagger up in the Panda, so maybe that's what they think. Maybe that's all they need, they think. As this is going to be a relocate gank for the bottom tower. Navi playing an incredible amount of desperation. Is going to be blinking for Revos. The relocate is being channeled onto Dendy, but they are going to sacrifice Savos to the wolves. As, oh no, the ultimate was forced out by the Brewmaster, but they do still have the black hole. Havos can potentially buy back. Probably a little bit angry that Navi left him for dead right there. Meanwhile, Kuroki gonna get a solo kill on ars-art, even in the range of the Centaur. I guess Kuroki managed to get the Vendetta strike right over here, and ars-art tried to turn around to run, but he's just outside the Centaur range. But as it is, Navi 8-3, they are getting dismantled right now. As they're making smart moves, they're trying to take towers whenever they're unprotected, but as it is, the TP response by Mouz is just too good, and they only expanded Brewmaster Ultimate for that. They still have the black hole, and they still have the swap. And there's going to be a push attempt in. ars-art did die to Lifesteal in that last engagement, or to the Nyx Assassin in that gank attempt, and now ars-art's going to buy back, but as it's going to be quite a while before he can get the full channel. Going to channel his ultimate and get that risk-free channel for quite a bit, but as is, the tower is going to die, do a lot of damage in the meanwhile. Spike Carapace going to reflect a bunch of damage, but there's going to be immediate impale for Puppy. Here comes Veda Black Hole catching everybody, or catching the two most important heroes on the side of Navi. Dendy Helm plays running out so much as BK Tiny. Havos dying once again, as Tiny gonna try to buy back, but unfortunately he's left by his lonesome. Only ars-art there with the buyout, as Dendy died, bought back. He's just gonna immediately melt. Look at Lestro doing so much damage, it's not even funny. Ultra kill by Black. Can he get that magical rampage? As Savos gonna take a lot of damage, being slowed in place. Malphus doing a lot of damage to the Drunken Haze, gonna slow down Savos an additional amount, and Black is gonna decide not to be overly greedy. They managed to get 4 kills at the price of 1, and forcing multiple buybacks on the side of Navi. 22-4, Navi's getting absolutely destroyed. This is not something you expect to see, but Wisp and Tiny able to clear out barracks in the blink of an eye. It's gonna be a Rax trade, despite Navi being down 22-4, as Light of Heaven might just be left to the wolves. Fada does have the gem, so if he manages to get the blink forward, Light of Heaven is gonna die. Light of Heaven not enough mana. We'll have the magic stick up. If he manages to get a track, we'll be able to escape, and Brewmaster not even gonna bother to blink forward to get the track off. He does have the gem. If he manages to blink forward with the open wounds by the Leicester, we'll potentially get the kill, but I guess the vision was just not granted to them. But man, a Rax trade despite it being 22-4. Just shows you how desperate Navi. Just shows you how desperate Navi's playing, but they're playing to win. As you can't really fault a team trying to win a game. As Wisp managed to get a kill on Black. Black gonna buy back right now. Was holding on to a lot of money, as Black always seems to have around 4k, 5k gold at a moment's notice, and now with the buyback on cooldown can just spend his money very, very soon. Probably going to try to finish a Basher and Abyssal Blade just to lock down a Vost or Dendy with that BKB if Black Hole isn't online. As it is, he's going to be quite far away. Doesn't even have money for a Basher just yet. As Mouse going to push out the bottom lane. Again, their top racks will be exposed. Wisp and Tiny will be able to clear it very quickly, but I don't know if they'll be able to clear the tower as well as the racks until Tiny finishes that AC. And as it is, Tiny is quite far away from the AC. Anything on the courier? No. So Tiny's still about a lot. 1,500 gold away from the AC if my calculations are correct. As Light of Heaven going to get the track going, and looks like they're just going to send Kuroki back. They don't really need Kuroki too often for these team fights, but it's still nice to get these Vendetta engagements. As the Brewmaster going to pop his ultimate. Tiny immediately able to kill off Black. Black, no buyback. Dendy going to try to focus down Pos. Pos popping the BKB. Can he escape? But Alex is going to take the brunt of Dendy's damage. He is going to die, as Navi making a valiant attempt to come back. Black is being cycled, or Havos being cycled up into the air, but Brewmaster's ultimate will expire very soon. But Havos is left by himself yet again. Illuminate's going to fly in from ars-art. Avalanche toss, draining all of Fada's mana with that mana leak. And Fada gonna have to run the heck back, but track is going to be in place. Fada trying to bottle up, trying to get the blink going, but blink constantly being renewed by the damage, and they're gonna pick up another track kill. Navi, 4 kills for 2 in that exchange, and multiple kills were track kills. So that's gonna go a long way in helping them secure some of the gold deficit. It's gonna be approaching that 7.5k mark very, very soon. Experience advantage going to take a slight drop, still hugely in favor of Mouse, but those kills very important. Black using that buyback, again dying, so will be delayed on his Bash or his Heart very, very soon. And as it is, Navi taking these engagements despite Brewmaster Ultimate being used, will give them confidence to go into the Roshan pit, but still, they will have to face the master of the black hole in this game, Pus, as there's going to be a buyback of Fade Out. Black has revived, as he died very early on in that engagement. And Navi, are they really going to go in for this Aegis? I think they should just keep taking their small victories. But they're going to go all in for this Aegis. And that's very scary against Pus, who has his BKB. If there's going to be a smoke attempt, Fada going to blink in. Black Hole once again is holding Havost in place. No Aegis. Dendi being held in place through the full duration of the BKB. Dendi trying to retreat very fast. Going to stun off the lifestealer, but turning around is just too much of a problem for Chaos Knight. That horse, not the brightest horse in the book. As it's going to be a 3-0 victory in favor of Mouz. They're going to clean up the Roshan. And I think Navi, if they just keep playing those small victories, keeping Mouz on the edge of their seats with these relocate, teleport, tower sieges, they'd be in much better shape. But as it is, they're going to lose the Roshan, as well as the teamfight, going to give Black an Aegis, which he desperately needs, considering he has no buyback timer up. But the buildings are starting to die on the side of Mouz, so Mouz might just have to push and end the game. They're going to do just that as islands are being stacked up. Theta is being tracked, but they have the Aegis on Black. AC has been finished, and the AC with the help of the Desolator will just absolutely destroy these towers, as it's going to be blinked forward by Theta. Track going on all the while, as now Black is in place, will just melt down this tower. Havost is going to respawn very quickly. Alex is going to get stunned onto Light of Heaven. Light of Heaven, does he have buyback? He is going to buyback. Keeper Light is now back in picture, as well as Havost. Dendi going to pop the BKB, going to go on Kuroki, but Kuroki just so tanked, and Black just absolutely decimating. Here comes the Dagon in, finishing off the Wisp. Alex is going to die in the background, as Wisp buyback. ars-art is being besieged by these islands, as Havost is being held in place. Relocating in by Puppy, trying to feel out Dendi, trying to keep him charged up, as the Limit's going to fly and going to finish off the Enigma, and Navi's going to hold on against all odds. But as it is, Nyx Assassin going to pick up one more kill against Keeper the Light, and Black respawns at the Aegis. Black just does not care. And the question is, will he actually even die, as he has to Desolator, has full wand charges on that magic wand. Havost is back in the picture, and he's going to buy back, finish off Black's giant streak. Black is going to be dead for the next 80 seconds. No money for the buyback, so if not, you just push in for the throne. They have the potential to win the game right now, 31-12. If they win right here, it'll just be an incredible comeback, but they still have to take down the tier 2, the tier 3, and have to go through a glyph. They might just have to rotate through the bottom lane in order to... I don't know if they can even try to take racks. They just have to try to go for throne. Black is out of the picture for another minute. But unfortunately for now, Brewmaster Ultimate is online. It is level 16 with the Agnums. It's going to last for 26 seconds. Multiple Cyclones will just mean that Navi will constantly be delayed. And Black's buyback, I didn't think he had enough of gold, but apparently just did. He had 1,400 gold, and I guess the buyback was around 1,300. So he was able to buy back. The buyback cooldown finally reset. And Nyx just constantly buying Dagons left and right. It's going to be a Dagon level 3. And Navi bought back to try to secure the base. But as it is, it's going to be very difficult to push in, but they know they don't really want to take a fight in the base anymore. Maybe they're trying to push in while Enigma doesn't have the Black Hole, but Black Hole will be back up, as well as level 16 Brewmaster Ultimate with the Aghanims. 26 seconds of Brewmaster, ridiculously high HP spirits running around. With Dendi not making any item progression since the BK's just been dying so often, 1, 6, and 8. Just because he's been constantly being disabled. Havost only finished that AC recently. Navi, they're just going to keep... Unfortunately for Navi, the problem is that they can't do any more of their cheeky tower trades, because Mouz can just push in to win it. Glyph is going to be on cooldown for the next 2.5 minutes or so. So Navi just got to play super safe. If they had a Glyph, they could try to split push it up, force Mouz into a mistake, may try to get a Rax trade, but without the Glyph, Navi doesn't really have that option. As we're going to check out the experience in Golgraph. Golgraph, very even track kills, helping fuel that experience vastly in favor of Mouz. And it's going to Smoke a Deceit attempt. Delusions by Tiny, not going to scout out. Now he seems to suspect something is going on, as Denny reveals himself right now. It could just be the end of the game. They're going to smoke up as well, as it's going to be a battle of the smokes. Any unprogression on the side of Mouz. No unprogression by Enigma. And Black actually fished the heart. Smart move in my opinion, rather than go for the basher. He just needs to survive and continue to do that damage. He has the Rage as well. Pretty short cooldown on that, 15-second. And the way these team fights have been going, they've been lasting so long. And Mouz, they're just gonna go in and end it.
Dire's middle
As
tower is
Navi,
under attack.
they can't do anything. They don't have a glyph. They're gonna have to all teleport back. Black is on the front lines doing a big damage with the heart. Gonna immediately kill off Dendi. Dendi is gonna buy. How does he always have back? Blinking Black hole holding Havost and Puppy in place. These black holes by Paz always holding Havost every single fight. It's not even funny as GGs are called by Navi and Mouz starting to gain some of their footing. Meanwhile, Navi continue to struggle. 3D max strat.
Use your helmet, or
Oh, they use the 3D max strat with the Wisp Tiny. Oh, the defense 3 where Navi's putting Mouz's bracket by 3D max Wisp Tiny backdoor. Yeah, that doesn't work when your glyph is on cooldown, unfortunately for Navi. And they're gonna pay the price. So Mouz starting to secure themselves back into the middle of the Dota 2 Raidcall League top spots. I think they're in the 5th place now. And they haven't played as many matches as anybody else. So they have potential to get in the playoffs and earn themselves a chunk of that prize money. And Navi gonna once again be thwarted from the playoffs, as I think this loss might have knocked them. Well, they still have a shot, I think, if everybody else loses. But as it is, their hopes for the playoffs of the Raidcall Dota League are not looking too good. Navi continue to struggle. But as it is, I'm sure once they get the practice routines back, you still gotta look out for Navi. They still are the team to be in Europe, in my opinion, for a LAN setting. Maybe not an online setting, but still. They shouldn't be just included from TI3 because of their online performances, just because they've done so good in the other TIs. I'm just saying that because people have been speculating that Navi shouldn't be invited, but, you know, they're still Navi. But anyway, that's an entirely different matter. Navi gonna get back in shape, I'm sure of it. It just matters on when. But more importantly, Mouz finally getting some of the momentum, beating out one of their rivals in the form of Navi, trying to get some of their footing back, trying to get back into the January phase of their 2013 run, and trying to get themselves back into the playoffs. So thank you for watching. Please keep subscribing and supporting. I'll be bringing you more Dota 2 commentaries in the near future, whether it be professional or more commentaries from the ATS gaming tournament. Thanks for looking out, and more projects in the future. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Peace.